As a reminder, in accordance with 33-1804, a homeowner may speak at the Board of Directors meeting when there's a motion on the floor before the board goes to a vote, and also during the homeowner forum for one turn and no more than 3 minutes. There will be a hard cutoff tonight if we go past 7:15 or go up to 7:15. There will be a hard cutoff of the open session at 7:15 this evening due to some executive information that needs to be dealt with. So going ahead, we do have quorum in the board, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting to order at 6:02 p.m. First on the agenda is the approval of minutes from March 26th. And I'll just need a motion and a second when you are ready.
Giving a quick pause for a skim here.
No problem.
And I'll motion.
Second.
Alex, thank you, Cody. Any board discussion?
No.
Any homeowner discussion on the motion? Seeing no hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries unanimous. Moving on to the financials, this is as of March 31st. In the Southwest checking, there is $671.43. In the gated parcel checking, there's $554.63. In the combined reserve money markets and savings accounts, there's $750,153.76. There's assessments due to the association of $18,767.50, as well as other receivables such as late fees, legal fees, collection costs, reserve funds for fines, and other, the amount of $21,972.02. There is prepaid assessments to the association of $51,409.47. Looking at your income statement, first at the gated operating account, currently the gated parcel is under budget by $1,422. For the general fund, operating fund, there's nothing really that stuck out to me, honestly. We are over budget by $6,642.41. That has to do with insurance and some legal. Otherwise, there is nothing really that's sticking out that you guys aren't aware of or needs to be pointed out. Did board have any specific questions on the financials?
Yeah, I had a couple on the landscaping section and one on the operations. The landscaping, I see the tree pruning, 6,497. Those are all the trees we approved a couple months ago, correct? Finally got done?
Yes. And you're not over budget because you have 15,000. It'll equal out at the end of the year.
Perfect. Yep, that's what I thought there. The landscape other. What is that? Do you know?
Landscape other is anything outside of pruning, any tree removal, such as like a small plant install or a tree install or pre-emergent, anything like that. Post-emergent.
Got it. Okay.
It's a kind of a catch-all for the rest that's not individually broken out.
Okay. And then the last one, the fertilization, is that for the whole community or just certain sections? Because I know Gary was just getting ready to start that a week or two ago. I think he had mentioned.
That is a budget that comes from him, and that's usually the entire community.
Okay.
As well, following up with some previous discussion we had, I believe last month, relating to the playgrounds. I didn't see any significance in any differences in charges to tot lots. Have they been notified of additional repairs that need to be made?
You guys have the bids to review in your board packet today.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Because they're above and over my authority limit.
The last question I have is on the operations, coupons and statements. Refresh me on what that is again, Brooke. I know it's supposed to happen, but what is the coupons and statements?
Coupons and statements is every household either needs to receive a emailed statement or a paper statement by mail per state statute, and they're done quarterly.
Perfect. All right. Now, if the owner opts to do electronic, then there's no charge for electronic. It's just if they mail it.
There isn't a charge for electronic. It's just a reduced charge.
Perfect. Okay, that makes sense.
But
Okay.
yes, a homeowner can opt in, but they have to actually sign a specific form.
Got it. Okay.
Any other questions?
I'm good.
Okay. I will need a motion in a second to approve subject to audit pending at the end of the year.
I will motion.
Thank you, Alex.
Second.
Thank you, Cody. Any more discussion by board? Okay. Any homeowner comment on the motion? Okay. Seeing no hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries unanimously. Moving on to the Walls project. This is still on there. I did include the ESS bid and the Pro Consult bid for you guys. I know we had Greg Lesson from ESS at the last meeting. Didn't know if you wanted to move forward with anything at this time. Had any other questions?
Guys, what did you think about the difference between ESS and the other company, Pro Consult? What were your thoughts on the two different companies?
My personal opinion or board? Sorry.
Right now, board.
Okay, perfect.
Alex, you want to go first?
I mean, yeah, on one hand, I would love to see that whatever repairs we do are done well and correct. They seem to know their stuff. I have spoken with a few other construction folks in the business of doing wall repairs, and it sounds like what they're saying is correct. But my concern is obviously cost, and that's where I have some reservations. I don't know. Is it worth spending what could potentially be based off of what they're quoting anywhere between 50 to 100% more expensive for the repairs? Are they worth getting 50 years out of the wall as opposed to maybe just short of 20 years, more or less, for a cheaper build? I'm not sure yet. Kind of mulling over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. My hesitation would be, or not hesitation, is knowing not all the walls need replaced, right? It's just a subsection. On those ones, I'm a big fan. You can ask my wife, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it right. I want it built forever, kind of a thing. But at the same point, obviously, there's always cost limitations. But I think for me, I'd like to understand what that true cost is, right? Hey, if we take option A to repair everything and replace what needs replaced, option B, repair and replace, and then we make that assessment. Right now, it's still kind of on the guesstimates and maybes. So it's tough to say, is it $100,000 difference? Is it $1 million difference? I mean, that changes things drastically for me.
Right.
So.
But isn't that what ESS is going to do for us, right? They're going to go in there and they're going to pinpoint which walls need to be, and then potentially.
Yeah. Essentially, they'll give us an updated wall study, which I do like the idea of, because the one we have is old. Let's be honest, lots changed since then, and things have probably gotten worse. So I am in favor of probably getting an updated wall study done. This way we have fresh updated information, and then we pivot left, pivot right, versus working on something, that's I think it's 5 or 6 years old.
Mm.
I do agree with that. Either way, whichever direction we go, I think that a new wall study is warranted. It seems to be a little amount of cost for such a potential impact that it could have if anything changed between last time and now, which has been what, like almost 5 years, right? So my furthering your comments on the, the cost, I think to more, I guess, touch on your question, Marcus, is this is what I'd like to know is more about how much this is going to cost out the door for the wall costs, right? And if we're expecting it's going to be X amount more for ESS, is that weight ratio or is that cost difference? Not only is it going to be a question of, is it worth that difference, but we have to consider the other side of this, which is the 50% share of the cost, which is the homeowner, right? So we need to be sensitive to those types of things. I think that it's worth it to survey a bit to find out if it's worth that extra cost, while also trying to get a little bit more of a firm idea on what the costs are. I like the idea of getting rid of stucco in place of that textured stuff that they were talking about that flexes and moves with the walls. But again, cost, is that like 50% more? Is it 100% more? What is it? The engineer that came out to speak with us, I forgot the gentleman's name. He under no questionable terms did he try to make it sound like it was comparable in cost. It definitely sounded like it was more expensive, but you know what you're getting out of it, right? So yeah, all that is to say, can we get more firm idea on what the cost difference that delta is between the two, just ballpark?
I guess, how is he going to determine what the cost is going to be for the neighborhood if he doesn't do the initial wall study, right?
Yeah.
What I mean is, so let's take one comparable neighborhood to another, same amount of square foot or linear feet that they're going to handle. Averaging out the cost of that per linear foot, what's the cost of the build and repairs from company A that's doing the lower cost build versus ESS? Is there a way? There's got to be some sort of ballparking, because he was able to throw out a number just estimated about a neighborhood and what it was going to cost them for all the walls. I think he said like $4.5 million because of the huge project that it was. But if he can do that, what's the average difference between the materials they use versus the materials that another, average company would use? Can we figure that out?
I'd imagine two fronts here. One, we need to decide, hey, do we want him to do a new wall study, right? That's one thing we got to figure out. But then while we're deciding that, or even if we do decide to do that, Brooke, I would imagine we could reach out to him and say, hey, assume a 100-foot block wall section needs to be fully replaced. Mm-hmm. Give us a rough estimate doing the high-end best finish with the rubber coating. Give us an estimate with just a standard stucco coating. And there we go. And then, because he said we don't necessarily have to go with the high option. He just wouldn't warranty it, or I forgot the note what he exactly said.
I think he said he wouldn't do it. Wasn't that what he had?
No, he said
he would do it. He will give you his recommendation, and his recommendation is going to be the higher rubber stucco per se is what he's calling it, what we're calling it. Because he's looking at long-term, and again, this goes into your strategic planning for long-term for the association as well, right? So he's basing it on that, but he will do the project with an additional options.
Okay. I did not note that detail down in my notes. That being the case, I am more enticed by the level of technical detail the gentleman was able to go into when we asked questions. I like that. I am a computer guy that works on stuff from a logical engineering standpoint in code. Him speaking the same language to me, he knows what he's talking about. I would rather have somebody that's like in the weeds that knows those details. That's also at the project management level, which is impressive.
Yeah, because my concern is, here we are, end of April. I mean, I know we've been talking about walls for a long time, but we've got to start making progress, because I don't want it to get worse, and so yeah. I don't want to make a rash decision at the same time, but I know that we're running out of time, I guess at least.
Yeah. I'm in favor of we get a new wall study done. we get that, then we can actually have some meaningful conversations about what needs to happen and where we need to focus. Because right now it's all maybes and guesses, and
Yeah.
we owe it to the community to really, like you said, Marcus, get this going and be able to have actual conversations about what really needs to happen and where. So
in the background, we can start working on, the financing piece, all that stuff. Once we kind of know how big of this work it really is, how much it's going to cost.
Yeah.
So ESS is basically a wall survey for, looks like 13 grand, right?
Yes.
Are we prepared?
Yeah, essentially, Marcus, they weren't comfortable taking on the project from a project management perspective until they did their own wall study,
Right.
which I can respect. So
He cannot write a scope of work for this project without doing a personal evaluation.
Right.
I vote we do the study, the survey.
I'm all in favor of that. Yeah.
Okay. Do I have a motion by Cody? Alex seconded. Any more discussion by the board?
So the action
Go ahead.
taken from this point, what we're doing is we're going to go back to ESS and tell them we want to have a study done. And then what? What's the next step for ESS here?
He would then he said it would take about, depending on what projects came in between the time that you guys were discussing, it could take 3 to 6 weeks to get his evaluation completed, written, done, and then to you guys for review.
Perfect.
Brooke, while you're doing that, can you also, let's at the same time run the request of, hey, 100-foot section split between, let's say, 2 homes. Give us, estimates, obviously, option A, option B of a full tear down or repair, footing all the way up.
Full replacement. Okay. Yep.
Good idea.
Okay. Any more discussion from the board? Okay. Any homeowner comment on the motion to accept the ESS wall study, to have them do a new study? Sorry. Seeing no hands. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, moving on to the street enforcement per state statute HB 2298.
All right. I've got some thoughts on this. If you guys would like to go first, happy to chime in after.
Cody, I think you've done the most research on this project, so I'd like to let you just start and take it.
I like the reverse Uno card there, man. I like it. All right, so I'll start. So I, after our last meeting, obviously had a lot of things through my head. I, after numerous attempts, was able to get in contact with Town of Gobert's code enforcement department. Had a very nice conversation with them to say, hey, how is this going to impact you guys? Are you going to continue to enforce? Are you not going to enforce? Are you going to get overwhelmed? What are you seeing? They were very much, well, we can't give you advice. We recommend reaching out to legal for advice. And said it's going to be business as usual for them. She said, if somebody reports an issue or a violation, we will look into it, just like we always do. The key there is if somebody reports the violation, they will look into it. They're not patrolling the streets. They're not patrolling to say, hey, are the trash cans left out? Is there a brush and bulky pile sitting out for 2 or 3 weeks? So while yes, they are still going to do what they do today, what I took it as is it would not be to the level of what the HOA can do because of our regular inspections by Focus going through the neighborhood. So I've got that piece, which has kind of pushed me on, hey, this could be a good thing. Then I also look at, initially I had the idea of, why even do a vote, right? Let's just heck with it, let the city enforce it. But then it occurred to me that by doing that, we are taking away the voice of those owners who want to vote and who may want to do it. Whether a vote passes or not, I don't feel right not giving those owners the opportunity to voice their opinion and their vote. That's not the purpose of the association. The owners are supposed to vote on decisions like this. And based on that one by itself, I am personally in favor of holding a vote. Even if it doesn't pass, if it passes, I'm okay with that. There are a lot of benefits to it, but I am not okay with not giving owners the opportunity to vote.
And Cody, why did you not want, or why were your thoughts of not doing a vote? With just, I know why, but I want you to explain it.
So initially, I mean, I'm honestly, I'm not a fan of rules. I'm not. I don't like being told what to do. As much as everybody else, HOAs are great. I love them. Less is more. My opinion initially was, well, if the city's enforcing it, good to go. I mean, I've had the city called on my daughter's car numerous times. And I said, okay, well, what's the big deal? Why have the HOA spend the money for something that's likely not going to pass? My thought was, well, we can save $3,000, $4,000. Cool, we're great. But the more homework I've done on it, that's not actually the case. I've actually found quite a few communities that have passed it. I'm actually starting to find quite a few that have passed it. And again, it's just for the streets. So it's, hey, we don't want that broken down car there. We don't want that, bulk trash out every 3 weeks. We don't want that, just whatever in the streets parked there or done just to bring down what's the word I'm looking for? The aesthetics of the community. So it's just kind of shifted me back to, I think having the HOA enforce some of the street stuff makes sense. And I say that also knowing, I heard some people say, oh, it's a way for the HOA to get money. And I say that knowing that no one has ever issued a fine the first time something is noticed. Nobody. You're given a warning. The warning does it, there's no fines or nothing to it. So from that perspective, it's really shifted me to, we need to hold the vote, and I am in favor of doing it just to keep the streets, where they are today.
And you touched on it, Cody, the expense to do a vote, right? There is an expense. Remind the community about how much that's going to cost.
There is, but I'm also looking at, now it's that same thing, that it's $3,500, but seeing as how we are a month away from holding the annual election, initially, do it first, but does it make sense just to tie that in with it? Just a few extra pages, no extra dollars. I mean, extra postage or extra paper fees, I'd imagine, but do we just combine it into one? I like the idea of cost savings. I'm a little concerned that it could get lost in the election stuff. I imagine this election is going to have, quite a bit of people, candidates running and whatnot, which I hope there is. So I don't want it to get lost in that, but I also don't want to spend $3,500.
Is there a way that we can do this? Let's just say, because I like the notion that not holding an election is taking away everyone's ability to speak or vote on it. Now, if we do the election, can we add spend a little extra on the cost because we're saving money by not doing a separate election? If we do it in that general election, have an extra flyer or something in there that really grabs attention to say, hey, you need to take a look at and be aware of this additional, item that's going to be on the ballot so that you can make sure that your voice is heard for this. And here's the details.
It's a great question. Brooke, could we do that where we've got, the vote, the election, the board candidate vote, and then a brightly colored paper says, wait, there's one more thing to vote on.
And you can, I just would have to see, I'd have to just get the mailing house how we add just a separate colored paper, because usually we do a color for the ballot, but I think we should be able to change the color for the paper, but on the election buddy side, it's not, it's just not going to be.
Yeah. Well, but election buddy would just have more questions, right? You would have to click through your nominees, and then there would be one more question, a yay or nay, right?
Correct.
In theory, it'd be easier online, but
yes.
obviously you got to mail. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that idea, Cody, kind of split, putting it together. I'm just concerned, like you said, it gets lost. And obviously we've got a hard deadline, June 30th on this vote. And I know we've got a fairly hard deadline on the revote, same month, right? So
Yeah. I also wondered too, I think before we do it, I think if we're gonna do it, I'd want to really try and get a bunch of education out to the community beforehand via email with, hey, here's this important vote. Don't let it get lost in the general election. Here's why. Here's what's on the line right now. I don't know. I mean, I guess the other question is, Brooke, say we wanted to do the street enforcement vote now. Is there what 2 to 3 weeks to get it set up, right? Or what's the timeline to get it set up and out if we wanted to?
Oh, less than a week.
Less than a week. Okay.
Yeah, you do have to have a special meeting, like a date, separate, where you call the meeting to order, you say it passed or failed, and then the meeting is called to close. If it fails, you then have to record with Maricopa County Recorder that the vote has failed and the streets are no longer enforced by the association.
And Brooke, just so we're clear, if it fails, that's it. There's no more revote. There's no more trying to do it again. It's done.
Nope.
Correct.
All right. I agree with Cody. I think the more education that's out there, the better. And I think knowing that we only have a week, or we only need a week to get going, I think we can work on some education to send to the homeowners in the next, say, 10 to 15 days. And then try to get a vote early, mid-June, something like that.
So Marcus, are you saying you want to do it in advance of the general?
No, I'd like to do it together if we can.
Together?
Yeah.
I think that's probably the better choice. I mean, we're going to save some money, spend a little bit more on the awareness, education on it. Sounds like a win-win.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's the better way to go. Just put it in there and then put our time and effort into just educating people, and we just make sure we do our due diligence with making sure it stands out like crazy when the ballots come out.
Because Brooke, we have to do a in-person option as well for the annual meeting, right?
So you don't have to do a vote in person option. You just have the meeting in person.
Okay. Because remember on the last election, we had an in-person option where we paid for the church space and stuff like that. We don't have to do that again.
No, you just have to have the meeting in person.
Okay.
And that I've already had it booked at the Southwest Regional Library. It's actually on the agenda.
What day do you have that booked?
June 25th.
June 25th.
Which actually will work with this special meeting as well, because you're 5 days before the meeting needs to be completed.
Good. Okay. All right. So boys, are we voting on combining it?
Yes.
Okay.
No motion on that.
I second.
Second, third.
Yes. Any more board discussion? Any homeowner comment on the motion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Moving on to the irrigation water rate increase.
All right, so this one is nothing to vote on. I ran some numbers and I put some stuff together. Mentioned last month, Town of Gilbert sent a huge increase out to reclaim water. So we have been working with the golf course, trying to understand it. It's not finalized yet, but essentially the Town of Gilbert raised the rates 120%. It goes from 54 cents per 1,000 gallons to $1.19. That went into effect April 1st. And the way our contract on the water is written is any increases golf course incurs over 20%, it passes on to the association, which makes sense, and it's obviously fair. We wouldn't expect the golf course to eat a more than double increase on a contract. That's just not the partners I feel like we want to be. So I've run the math. Again, this has not been confirmed by the golf course. They are expecting to give us final updates here in the next few weeks. But it looks like about a $9,200 increase per quarter for our water, effective on our, what is it, April, May, June, the bill we get for April, May, June. So Brooke, what I'd like to do is, if I can't go on the call, but I'd love to kind of model out what that's going to do to our budget, just to see how that impacts it. So if maybe at next month's meeting, we could have kind of an example to kind of, so we could just kind of see what that does. I think that'd be helpful. I mean, it's obviously not going to put us in the negative, or we're, you know, but it's obviously going to eat into things.
Gonna
So,
reduce your reserve
yeah,
contribution.
yeah, that's kind of what I figured. So, which then has an impact on everything else. But obviously, this was a hard charge. We can't. It's not avoidable. It wasn't us. It's straight on the town. So, is what it is.
We have to find a way to cut some costs somewhere to help offset this. We have to
Yep.
find ways to generate more revenue to help offset this too, right? So
Yep. Yeah, but the one thing I will say, and you know, for the owners on the call, obviously we're all owners. Even though this is increasing the HOA's cost, this does not increase the owner dues at all. Those are locked in for the year, so this is not gonna, you're not gonna see an increase on your dues right now. Not gonna lie, probably see something happen next year, but this year we are locked in, so no impacts to homeowners for this year on that.
but
Yeah.
you will see an increase on your personal water bill, right?
Yes.
I haven't seen it yet, but I know it's coming. So I have.
The lovely calculator says I'm going up $36 a month.
And I believe yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but did one of you speak to somebody that was from city council that explained why the sudden sharp increase in cost? Wasn't it something to do with like basically technical debt that they had built up by not addressing things that had been outdated? Or what was the
So what I didn't take, I think I've not speak to anyone on council directly, but I've talked to people, and essentially what it is the town was faced with two options. If you look at their website, it kind of goes into it, but the current infrastructure, town of Gilbert, it needs rebuild. It cannot sustain what's going on right now. It can't handle the growth, can't handle the people. They're faced with, do we do a hard increase now? Do we do bonds? What do we do? Because essentially, over the last piece of time, the system wasn't upgraded as it should have been, and now they're faced with, crap, we have to do this. We got to bring in money quick. And instead of doing bonds and loans, they said, well, let's just raise the rates so we get instant money. And that's what I was told. I can't confirm that wasn't directly from anyone on city council, myself, but that's what I've been told, and it makes sense, unfortunately.
fair enough?
Yeah. So, and yeah. And again, last thing, this is just for the HOA's common area irrigation. For those that may not know, the entire association's common area landscape is fed on reclaimed water that we get from the golf course. That is, they get it from town of Gilbert. None of the association's irrigation is tied into tap water or even the town of Gilbert water at all. It's strictly plumbed into the golf course. So.
And the cost to retrofit from the town is just wildly expensive, and the actual water itself is even more expensive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the numbers from what it said for irrigation water that's not reclaimed from town of Gilbert. It's 500% more expensive than reclaimed water. So I don't know if that's what we would pay, how that works, but yeah, 5 times. And I've heard what numbers of over millions of dollars to tap into tap water if approved, right?
If you get potable water, yes, it would be millions of dollars to redo what you guys already have, add meters, things like that, if they would even grant the approval.
Yeah, I personally have no interest in that. I mean, that's going backwards in my opinion. Green and recycled's the way to go. So.
Now, we did have, I at least brought up previously, briefly, the idea of potentially looking at a well And I guess the old board had looked at that previously. Do you know anything about that, Brooke?
I know they did look at that. That has to be approved by the town of Gilbert as well. But that would be more of a question for Harmon as he was the manager at that time. It was prior to me.
Got it. Okay.
Where would we put it? Right?
I no idea. Just looking at options.
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah, yeah. I know.
Yeah.
The other thing that it would be so any install of installing a well, things like that, you have to tap into, you have to run lines. Well, you have to go across the city streets. They don't allow that a lot of times.
Mhm.
Because they own the streets within your community.
Mhm.
Yep. Okay.
Which would be the same thing for kind of potable water if the lines weren't there and you needed to access lines across the road.
And Cody, do you want to touch on, we've met with Mr. Anderson, the golf course owner, a couple times about water clarity from the pond to help kind of everything that comes that we use that water for should help if we can keep that water clean. You want to touch on that a little bit?
Yeah, I was thinking we do that when we get to the landscape updates.
Cool. All right.
Anything else on the water increase? Otherwise, moving on to toilet repairs and remodels.
I've got notes ready for this one.
Okay, perfect. So I did go ahead and reach out to Bellator, HOA Playgrounds, and Tot Lot Services. Tot Lot Services did advise that they do not repair the canopy. And post, he said you needed to contact a canopy company. Bellator came back with a bid, and I have not received HOA Playgrounds bids yet at this time. So Bellator did state that they would definitely recommend that look at removing completely, replacing down the road when budgeted. Some of the rust is more than surface rust, so that it would be our first recommendation. We would give them an option to do one per month if they would like. They'd also have, they do not have to all be done right now, definitely soon. If they do not want to do that, we can also give the option to paint the post. I do want to ensure that they know this will not help with the integrity of the structure, that is purely aesthetic. So this was their bid to replace structures, the Reseda, the Estrella, and the Camilla.
How old are these structures?
I don't even know. I don't have records of if they were put in at the beginning of the community. I've tried looking for records, but I do not have anything.
Yeah, I lived on Estrella for a while. It was like 08 through 2015. I don't recall those structures being there when I left in 2015. So I would say they're 10 years old at most. It's sad to see those pictures, how poorly they have aged. Is it worth looking into the people who put them up initially and see if there's any kind of warranty or anything like that on those?
Usually a warranty is no more than 4 or 5 years on structure.
All right, well.
So I went out and inspected all the parks this morning myself. I am not an engineer. I am not a canopy guy, but I feel like I've got a decent level of common sense. I would be hard pressed to say the canopies need torn down or replaced. If you look at them all, every piece is attachable. Yes, the base of the legs are rusted out. So can you not just replace the leg and the footing it's on? Because if you follow the leg up, it bolts into another piece. The entire frame is intact, rust-free. So now some of the canopies are a little torn, either need patched or replaced, but I don't think the entire structures need replaced. I think even just some of the legs or just the footings could go. Mm-hmm. And then for the ones that are leaning, there's a thing, the post is leaning. I'll get into Tot Lot's inspection on that. I'm going to tear it apart, but the post is leaning. It's not broken. It's on a slip joint. Loosen the bolt, tighten it back up, tighten it, your leg is straight. So for Bellator, I get it. They want to replace it. Well, they don't do repairs. Of course, they're going to recommend replacing. So I want to see repair costs before we even entertain replace cost, in my opinion.
There is not, they did talk about, where did it go? The painting is what that they did
Yeah.
do the painting. He did state part of the issue you're having with the rust is the grass.
Yeah, that was the next thing I was going to, is I actually stumbled upon when I went to the park on Estrella, the irrigation was on, hitting the playgrounds.
Yep.
I got a video of one of the Ramadas, looked like it was pouring rain because the sprinklers hitting so hard. So with that, and we can either way go to landscape if you want, but we need to have Gary go out and turn on all the sprinklers around the parks and set the sprinklers to not hit the playgrounds. They should not be getting wet, and if they are, he needs to figure out how to adjust them.
Yeah.
That's where this rust is coming from.
Yes, and John did state he would, if you replace them, he would recommend moving the posts in and away from the grass as much as you can, so that you don't, because what happens when the grass waters, water sits there because it's a retention area. So it all goes downhill. So it sits and there's water around the posts. Because he went out at several different times to see why these posts were rusting. And he actually has pictures of water pooling around some of the posts.
I say we send Gary the bill. Just kidding.
Yeah, and I think, well, that's the point. If we can adjust the sprinkler heads, let's start with that, right? Get that fixed. Then we can look at, if we don't move them, there's got to be a way to maybe build up the foundation or the footing a little bit, right? There's going to be options we can look at. Maybe you do a shorter leg, but you do a concrete footing that comes up 4 inches or 3 inches. I mean, it's probably not more than a 6-inch footing. I don't know. Let's just look. I think we should look at other options. But let's start with the sprinklers. There's no reason they should be hitting the playgrounds at all.
Not a problem. And I can go to non-vendor, non-playground vendors to see their thoughts on what their options are. Can they put a column? Can they set? Because I asked him, I said, what if we made concrete pads and then attach the posts to? He's like, that would be an option. But
yeah, I think that's something to look at. Obviously, now you've got a piece of concrete sticking out of the ground. Is a kid going to hit it? My 4-year-old would absolutely kick it and stub his toes. That's his specialty. But I think that's if we could reach out to just some canopy companies and say, for just the canopies, and see what they could do for repairs. I think that'd be a better first step or next step.
So then moving on to the proposals to replace the bridge planks at Camilla. The parts do come from Dave Bang because they are Dave Bang.
Listen, free
Tot lots.
Yeah.
So Bellator's total, well, actually, sorry, let me start. Tot lots total was $3,354.95. Bellator to do the same exact thing was $3,181.95. So you're saving, it would be a $200 savings depending on who you decided.
Yeah. I will share this with you guys on the tot lots. So obviously I was pretty hot on this last month. I had a conversation with him a few weeks ago, and now I'm looking at this month's report. Last month, he didn't report any of the damaged posts or leaning posts at the park with the basketball court. Yet they were there. I saw them. I was there looking at them in person. I got pictures on my phone of it. Now they're suddenly on the report we did last week. That bothers the heck out of me. He was clearly not doing it right, and now he kind of got called them out a little bit. Now I'm doing it. I personally am not a fan of wanting to do business with someone who's we're paying to do something, and it just that doesn't sit well with me. So I'd rather go with Bellator just on that fact alone. So,
and just so you guys know, Bellator did go out. They did inspect all your tot lots at no cost to you. He replaced some bolts already and put some stuff at no cost just because he was out there, and we do a lot of work with him.
I appreciate that.
That's great.
So
yeah, I mean, I definitely want to get the playground fixed now. I think it's a safety hazard to the kids, so I think we should vote on, getting one of these bids approved right now, so we can at least do that piece. My vote is Bellator.
Are you
As
making
is
a
mine.
motion, Cody? Okay. Okay, so I have a motion by Cody, second by Alex. Any more discussion on the repair of the tot lot?
Sounds good to me.
Okay. Any homeowner comment on the motion? Seeing no hands, all in favor?
Aye.
Rest of the board? Sorry, I didn't hear you guys if you said aye.
Aye.
I heard
Aye.
Marcus. Oh, thank you. Okay, so then moving on, next was tot lot maintenance. I did bid out to, you currently have tot lot services. I did bid out to Bellator tot lot services, sorry, and HOA playgrounds. Bellator tot lot services came back bi-monthly at $298. HOA playgrounds did come back monthly at 280, bi-monthly at 325, and quarterly at 400. They did also say they'd look at the basketball courts. I did ask John at Bellator if while he's out there for the cost of 298, would he do the same thing, and he said yes.
What are we paying today, Brooke, for tot lots?
Hold on. I say it's for something.
Or something for bi-monthly?
I think it is for something for bi-monthly. No, yeah, 450. No, 150. 150? 150. 150.
I guess you get what you pay for. Right.
So 150, yeah. Wow.
150.
Yeah, I will say the playgrounds were clean this morning. There was no graffiti, no candy, no stuff that you could tell the sand had been raked. So that made me feel good about that. You could tell it had been cleaned off. Although going every 2 months, I don't at least clean the sand off and emptying the trash cans probably is not a great idea. But I almost wonder if we could tap into GNL and say, hey, what would you charge to go rake the sand every other week or once a month for us? I bet that'd be cheaper than having these guys come inspect. And we still need it inspected. We still need it cleaned and scrubbed. But the sand, I don't know. I mean, Brooke, any thoughts on?
So just so you know, Gary should be emptying the trash when he's doing his inspection in that area.
Okay.
So I have to double check on the raking. Most landscapers do rake when the tot lot services comes out and rake, it's more of a deeper rake. They're kind of sifting through to make sure that there's nothing in there. I'm trying to pull up a report just so you guys would see the report that comes from
And
another
remember,
company.
GNL has what, 7 or 8 zones. They're not at each park. They're there every 6 weeks. Is that what it is? Or every
It should
4
be
weeks?
once every 4.
Okay, every 4 weeks. So then if we could time it to where Bellator is there 1 month and then GNL is the next month, that might work, right?
Yeah.
Marcus, are you thinking we move to a monthly inspection and cleaning versus the bi-monthly we have now?
No, I was saying we just do the bi-monthly with Bellator, and then we have GNL kind of pick up that month they're not there, right? And
Yeah.
they can clean up. So at least it's getting touched every 30 days, roughly, right?
Yeah. That's actually not a bad idea. And I dovetail a little bit in the newsletter committee meeting I had a few weeks ago. I wonder if we could even get like a volunteer group to come out once a month. Hey, let's clean the parks up for our kids, on the off months. I don't know. I would go do it. I'd help clean them up just to keep it clean for the kids.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
So here's just a report that this community just has a very small playground. And here's just like a report from February that they did. They always include pictures and report this is what they found. So just an FYI.
I'm all for just based on the inspection reports on tot lot getting away from them. I don't like But again, they were not inspecting the canopies or not reporting the canopies, and now all of a sudden they are. They just, I don't know.
And it's what, $25 a quarter or every other month more for Bellator? Done.
298. It's double.
It's double?
Yeah, right, Brooke? You said 150 for tot lots?
Yeah, let me
That doesn't seem right.
It doesn't, but that's what it's budgeted for. But let me pull up the last invoice. That's probably the best way for me to do it. So it'll just take me
I
one
thought it was
second.
I really thought it was 400 something when I was looking at the invoices.
For some reason that stuck in my head too, but let me log into my system real quick. I was logged in. It should just take me just a second.
Well, in theory, we paid him this month, right? So let's see what.
I've got some invoices right here, Brooke. Let's see. Yeah, he's 450. Here's an invoice right here from. Here's his April of last year invoice. He's charging us 450 every 2 months.
Was it 150 per tot lot? Is probably what it is.
Yeah, 150 per tot lot.
Tot
Yep.
lot. So this is 298 for all three. So you're actually saving money.
So okay, that's saving money. And what was their monthly again?
Monthly, I didn't have him bid monthly. I can.
Yeah.
Monthly for HOA Playgrounds was 280. I assume at monthly he would be less than that.
No.
Less than that charge, but twice the payment because it's monthly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I say we try out Bellator. We're gonna save some money, and then I think we just again I'll run point on it. You know, on the off months, we really just pay attention and see, hey, do we need to get this clean more often, or is the 2 months really okay? I mean, I don't have enough history with really watching those things to see if the 2 months is too much or not. And you know, maybe we can get feedback from owners over the next month or two as well, what they're seeing. So
I think we get Gary involved. Say, Gary, we really need to hit each one every time you're there with raking or whatever, you know.
Yep.
They're there anyway. They're emptying the trash.
So
5 extra minutes
to rake
right. The sand.
Yeah.
I don't see it being a big deal.
And take care of the grass and weeds in the sand. Let's have that.
Yes, I report that all the time.
Okay.
Okay, so I would need a motion then to accept, to terminate tot lot services and hire Bellator, which works out because we have to give tot lot services a 30-day notice.
I motion.
So.
I'll second.
Any more discussion? Any homeowner comment on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. All right. Moving on to annual meeting. So I do have the annual meeting scheduled for June 25th, 2025 at 6 p.m. at the Southwest Regional Library.
Good.
Moving on to then landscape updates. I'll give this to you guys.
You guys want me to start or do you want to start?
You got it.
I'm talking tonight, I guess. All right, so we have been meeting with the landscapers. Gosh, we've met what, 3 times now, guys, with them, with the sole objective of how do we make it green? How do we get rid of all the dirt? Let's make it green. Let's get it pretty. And we have been pretty aggressive with it, and we've learned a lot. With the biggest challenges we're having is with the water coming through the sprinkler heads. We are getting clogged sprinkler heads quite a bit, mainly because while we are using reclaimed water sprinkler heads, it's not really built to handle what's seen. You know, we're getting a lot of snails and stuff like that clogged up in it. So, and what that does is that's plugging up the sprinklers then aren't watering, and as a trickle effect, now we've got dirt. So what we are doing is we are actively working with landscaping on what can we do with irrigation to help solve this problem? How do we prevent the sprinkler heads from getting clogged up? It's going to do 2 things. One, we're going to save a ton of money because we're not having to replace sprinkler heads as often if we can solve it. And two, hopefully we're going to have nice green grass, which is obviously would be awesome. We are Greenfield lakes. The second thing we are doing is we are also actively working with the golf course on the water as well. So we're hitting it from two fronts. Option A is landscaping, irrigation. How do we, do we put in flush valves? What can we do on our side to make sure our sprinkler heads aren't getting plugged up? The second thing we are doing is we're working with Scott in the golf course, and he's been very helpful with what can we do to clean up or improve the water quality. He's already done a lot with a new, I forgot what it was called. What's the box thing he replaced? I don't remember what it was called.
Controller. Excuse
The
me.
controller. There's something in the pond as well to help keep stuff out of it. He replaced. But he is looking at options for treating the water for the snails and stuff like that. So he's still waiting on that information so we can see what that looks like. So we're hoping, and the goal is by hitting this from two fronts, we can find solutions that not only make everything nice and green, but also save some money for the association as well. So that's kind of where we're at with it. Yeah, you guys.
Just to kind of add to the snail thing, we met with Gary and the landscaping team. They pulled a valve or a sprinkler head out. It had probably 2 inches of tiny little snails and gunk all around it. So it was completely clogged. We cleaned it off. We came back 2 weeks later. It wasn't as bad, but it was still pretty bad. So there is a problem, and we're working through it. So it's a real problem, and that's partly to blame why our landscaping looks so crappy today. Is that they've been playing whack-a-mole with all these sprinkler heads, trying to keep them clean, and then not charge the association thousands and thousands of dollars for sprinkler heads. So we're aware of it. We're certainly on top of it because, like Cody said, I want it to be green lake. I want it to be Greenfield Lakes again too. I don't like the dirt. I don't like the brown. So we're getting there.
I think it's worth homeowners knowing that, this snails are very invasive. Like they get through a lot and they repopulate. I just heard about this that you could clear out an entire lake of all of the snail population. It will completely regrow a snail population in its full bloom in 2 or 3 months. So there's a very continuous maintenance process that needs to be put in place, and that's what we're trying to work out. Something with Mr. Anderson and the golf course in order to be able to nail this down.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we are working towards a solution. I'm confident we're gonna get improvement. I mean, I think that's evident. So it's just everything takes time, but bear with us, guys. We are actively pushing hard on this one.
Good.
Anything else on the landscape update? If not, moving on to golf course pine trees.
Last thing on the landscape, please, Gary needs to address the sand in the parks. If you're sending him a request and he's not doing it, we need to address that. There should not be grass in the sand pits. So if we need to meet and talk about it and see what's causing that, happy to, but I would like that addressed, please.
Anything else on the landscape? If not, okay, golf course pine trees.
Cody. All right, so like we said, we've met with Mr. Anderson, the owner of the golf course, quite a few times, actively talking with him about quite a few things. And one of the things he recently brought to us as an FYI for us, with the combined goal to help get the information out to the community. Obviously, we are intertwined, right? The golf course runs through the neighborhood, and he recently learned that a lot of the pine trees on the golf course, you may have noticed, are starting to die. He had a arborist come out, inspect the trees, and they found that a lot of the pine trees are infected with they have a beetle infestation.
4 beetles.
What is it?
4 beetles.
4 beetles, yep. It's not just a Greenfield Lakes thing, it's pretty widespread throughout the valley. And once the beetles get in, bye-bye tree. So want to let us know he is on it. he knows it's happening. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is they're going to have to remove a lot of these pine trees. So that is coming. The pine trees are going to come down. Don't have exact dates on which ones, but if you see dead pine trees behind your house on the course, those are likely on his list. If you have questions, I'm sure you can reach out to the golf course and he can give you more information. He's been very open to sharing information. Did say once they do cut him down, he may stack up some free firewood over by his dumpster and say, hey, if you want firewood, which I might take a little bit of, but that is coming. More to come as well on that. Once he gets some dates and stuff, we'll probably send something out in like the newsletter or something, just so the community knows, hey, these trees are coming down. Again, these are golf course trees. They're not HOA owned trees. So we're just sharing the message so homeowners are aware, because a lot of these trees are right up behind their view fences. So. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to homeowner comments. Please raise your hand. For Windows, it's Alt Y, Mac, Option Y, phone, *9. If you have comment, question, not comment, I should say comment for the board. Okay. Bhodi asking you to unmute.
Okay, I believe I'm unmuted. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to say, I guess I have a perimeter wall, which obviously this is a big issue to me. And one of the things that bothers me is that the issue has kind of been framed in the past as the majority shouldn't have to pay for the minority of the people in the community. And I don't think that's really the fairest way to phrase the issue, because the entire community benefits from having walls that are in good shape. When you come into the community and you look, one of the things you see is the walls. That's one of the reasons why we're doing it. So I just kind of have a problem with it being an issue of just the problem for the minority of homeowners. I think it affects the entire community, and I think the issue should be looked at more like that. I don't know what that really means as far as a practical application, but it's just something that really bothers me.
Thank you for sharing.
Thanks, Bhodi.
Their homeowner? With no other homeowners on board, I would ask you to adjourn to executive session.
Thank you everybody for attending tonight.
Yes.
Thank you.
You.
Oh, I
yeah.
have some. I have one. Okay, asking you to unmute. You can hit *9 if you are on a phone.
Phone number ending in 1690.
Okay, Shelly asking you to unmute.
Hi, just really fast in regards to some of the landscaping pieces that you guys are talking about. I know that you guys were saying, oh, it's an extra 5 minutes for them to do certain, pieces with the actual playgrounds, etc. Are we going to take into consideration some of the other entryways as well? It's a 5 minute for them to trim up some stuff once they have that done. I know there's also different appeals and stuff out today, but just curious on if that's going to be reviewed and looked at too.
I apologize. I didn't hear the very beginning of that question. It was kind of broken up a bit.
I think she was talking about, if we're convincing G&L to do an extra 5 minutes scrape of the sand at the playgrounds, why not touch up those parcels that adjoin like a street, an entryway street, such as Gila, right off of Park Crest? Why not have them touch up that? That was her question. At least that's
correct.
Okay.
That is, but the board, again, this is
homeowner comment period, and the board does not respond.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Shelley.
So,
Brooke, that's something Shelley could email into you and you could answer her, correct?
yep.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, asking again, phone number 1690 to unmute. You can hit *9 on your phone. It will unmute you.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. No. Yep. Nope. You're still muted. Okay, you are unmuted. Go ahead.
Maybe.
Hello? Phone number ending in 1690. You are unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me now? I don't know why this is
Yes.
so difficult. Okay, thanks. So I walk Greenfield Lakes an hour in the morning and an hour at night. Obviously I'm out there right now, but I'm on the south side of Warner. And I'm going to say that I walk around, I have counted all of the plants that we have lost just in my little area, which is over 400. And I also go and I try and fix all of the sprinkler heads when I notice that they're not shooting out water for the plants or whatever. But so I'm trying to do my part on that front. But I have noticed about the electrical unit that's facing Greenfield Greenfield, right past Knox. And I contacted Brooke. He told me that I should contact the town of Gilbert, which I did. And then they told me that it's disconnected and that now it's our responsibility. So I contacted Focus. I told them that it's our responsibility. But then I was told that we can't remove it. When the town of Gilbert said that we can't remove it, but you have a screenshot of it, but it's still not removed. And it's a total eyesore. And it looks, just not to be not, it looks like junk. So I'd like to know if that's going to be removed and who it's going to be removed by, because it just looks trashy. But that's all I had to say.
So I know exactly the pedestal that is she is speaking of. It is a pedestal by SRP. SRP removed the meter because the pedestal fell. We are not able to remove it. It actually has to be replaced, and I'm in the process because SRP sent me the specs for the replacement that has to be done by an electrician. They removed the meter without telling us, and Gary is hand watering this area. I've been working on this for a couple of weeks. We cannot remove the reader. We have to replace it and replace the pedestal, and I'm in the process. I just got the spec from SRP on Monday and have submitted it to electricians to be replaced.
So, Brooke, can you tell me where this is? Because I'd like to, go take a look myself.
Knox, just south of Greenfield, on Greenfield, south of Knox.
Okay, so
it is the irrigation pedestal.
The street light is Knox, right? So it's just south of the street light?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. And
SRP didn't even tell us that they'd removed the meter or anything.
I don't think they have to tell us so, do they?
They do when it's connected to our irrigation meters.
Oh, that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
So wait, with there being no meter there, we're not getting any power to our stuff?
They're going on when it needs to be watered and turning on the valves by hand, correct.
All right, so once we replace the pedestal, we'll have power again, so the timers are going automatic?
Yep.
Okay, so then we gotta get that. Do you have a time on it and when that's gonna get done, or are you still working on that?
I'm still working on it because it's a necessity. Like, they gave me the specs on Monday. I sent them to the electrician to give me the bid so that we can get started. It then has to be processed. The town of Gilbert has to give you a permit. Then they build the pedestal. Then we get an inspection of the pedestal being okay. Then the SRP comes out and places the meter. It's about 30 days.
Got it. Do we know how the original one broke?
It fell over. It just rusted out and fell over.
Is it more overwatering from G&L?
It's not overwatering. It's just it's literally in the grass, so it's.
When you have the bid to have it replaced, can we look at, have them explore ways to raise it up or see there's options to maybe not have it below the water level so we don't have this happen again?
Yes, and I talked to the electrician about that.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, homeowner.
It is 7:12, so I do suggest we call to closure, please.
Thank you for sharing.
I just need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Thank you. At 7:12, second, please.
I'll second.
Thank you, Marcus.
Looks like Alex
is on mute. Eddie can't speak. There you go.
Not sure how I got muted. Sorry about that.
Okay. That's okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Motion carries. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.